Testing the mic. Test, test.
Good morning, Unity of Gainesville. We are actually starting almost on time. It's almost 11 o'clock. Just 1 minute after. So I'm happy to say we're gonna start on time. And the first thing I'm going to say is we request that you silence your phone. And may this service bless each of you on your spiritual path. Those of you that are here in person, those that are joining us on Zoom or Facebook, and all of those who are with us in spirit. My name is Celeste Kroll, and I'll be guiding us through the beginning of this sacred service this morning. I want to know, are there any first-time visitors here this morning? If so, please raise your hand if you're so inclined. Any first-time visitors? All right, we are all family. Very nice. Online visitors, you may see our website at unitygainesville.org. So now I invite you to stand up and let's say our vision, mission, and core values. They're not going to be listed, or are they? Going to be on the screen or not? I don't know. They are? Okay, I didn't know. Okay, so the first one should be vision. Is that what you see? All right, let's say this together. Centered in divine love and wisdom, we joyfully create a world united in positive spirituality. The next one should be mission. Good. Prayer, meditation, spiritual education, and service. We put God's love into action. Last one, core values. I am spirit-led. I am love. I am generosity. I am gratitude. I am inclusivity. You may be seated. The overall theme this year is to align with the natural rhythm of the seasons as a way to deepen spiritual awareness and connect with the flow of creation itself. For winter, it's January, February, and March. We're almost done with winter. Our core idea is stillness and vision. And our focus is deep reflection, setting sacred intentions and trusting divine order. The series container is In the Silence, I See Clearly. Now let's say together the anchoring thought. Does it happen to be up there, the anchoring thought? Okay, together. In stillness, I remember who I am. And Reverend Ryan is going to give us the evocation.
Thank you so much, Celeste. Y'all gonna see some behind the scenes stuff. There we go. All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. Let's take a collective breath. This is the time of year when we're all feeling a sense of pressure, expectation. For whatever reason, this is the time of year where we're feeling a sense of overwhelm. And so we come into this space to release, to set aside, and to be reminded. And so this morning, as we do our evocation, I invite you to listen differently. So I recently heard when we listen with our ears, that is one way. And when we listen with our whole body, that is another way. Because sound is vibration. So as we listen today, I want you to open your heart and imagine that listening, that hearing, is a sensation that your entire body can experience. All right? And we send love to those who are receiving it from the ambulance. We sound the bowl the first time, affirming there is only love. Repeat after me. There is only love. We sound the bowl a second time, affirming that if there is only love, then who are we? We are the expression of love, the embodiment of love, the arms and feet and the activity of love itself. Repeat after me. I am the expression of love. We sound the bowl a third and final time, affirming that if there is only love and we acknowledge that we are the expression of love, then what are we to do with all that we experience? This morning, we are reminded to take all of who we are into everything we experience. Repeat after me. I take all of who I am into everything I experience. And so it is.
Good morning, everybody. I can sure resonate with what Ryan was saying just now. There is so much going on, so much expectation, but we're here this morning to take a deep breath and remember what this whole thing is really about. Oh, these are some songs I wrote. Taking advantage of I go, painting again with off-white tones, ripping a bandage off at home. You sewed a winter coat, you burn and call it cold. Chances go unknown. Taking the plans go free. Questions that we had danced into the floor go unanswered once more. Far and deep under your soul, way beneath, you already know. Oh, 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 the way you speak your truth into me somehow feels so beautifully new and oh so old. The only story told. Oh, oh, oh. Thank you.
Thank you, Brock. It's like we're transported to a concert, okay? Hey, y'all, what's up? So, you know, at Unity, we love to celebrate. We'll find any reason to celebrate because, you know, it's always a good thing. Do we have any birthdays that happened last week? What? Was it your birthday? Oh, my goodness. Happy birthday, Gary. 23. 27, you got it. Happy birthday, Gary. Were there any other birthdays that happened this week? Okay, any other milestones, anniversaries? Maybe there was a project deadline that happened. Yes, hold on one second. Let's get the.
We'll just give you one line. All the bids are in on the projects for the kitchen, and the board will be meeting on Tuesday, and we'll be hopefully coming into a place of decision, and things will be starting the next phase of reconstruction.
All right. Yes, yes. Jesselyn, I'm coming. I was headed straight to you.
Okay, so I'm really excited. I got cast in the Guts and Glory storytelling showcase in Gainesville for April 9th. I'm going to be sharing my story about my near-death experience and how I began to receive divine communication afterwards, which is a big deal for me. So.
Thank you, Jesselyn. And if y'all don't know, Jesselyn is a comedian, all right? So at some point, we're going to get some improv up in here, okay? She said improv artist, okay? Do we have any other milestones? Yes, come on, Bonnie, what's going on?
Sean and I are opening a clinic for orthopedic acupuncture, Bigler Wellness, and Change Energetics Hypnotherapy on Newberry Road. It's going to be opening in April, and it's a very, very beautiful space.
What? Oh, my goodness. Wow, okay. If y'all have a grand opening, we might as well just call it like a Unity grand opening because we got to represent. Yes, I mean, yes, okay. Talk to me, Gabe, what's up?
I'm going to start directing a film with a guy named Manuel who comes and plays the flute with his wife. It's going to be about a kid who stutters, but he started learning to connect with the divine and stopped stuttering.
We got some artists up in the house, y'all. Listen, we have a lot to celebrate, and so any other space is like, oh my goodness, what is that about? But I think it's important that we celebrate the milestones. Quick story. The other day, like 2 days ago, I went into the garage. It was at night, and I was trying to put something in the garage. It was pitch black. I couldn't see anything. The next morning, because the sun was up, I saw like a little sliver of light, and there was a little bit of light coming in from the utility room, and that little bit of light allowed me to see. And so what we're doing in this space is we're offering light in what appears to be darkness. And I got to tell you, a little bit of light transforms space and time. And so what we're doing in this space is we're honoring the light, that little bit of light, and dare I say a lot of light, because whatever degree that comes into space, it transforms our visibility. And so it is. And so I'm asking us in this community, as we celebrate, as we see each other, that we acknowledge that we are doing something. We are actively shifting the consciousness on this planet. The mere thought, we are doing it. We are doing it. We have many in our community who are moving through a grieving journey, you name it, whether it's a loss of a loved one, whether it's moving through a healing journey. Many of us in our community are at various stages of spiritual growth. And so in our evocation, we say there is only love, and we say we are the expression of love. And if we hold that to be true, that means we can give some good love and we can receive love. So I want you to do me a favor. I want you to rub your hands together like you're getting ready for a good meal. And just know the mere thought makes this possible. So I want you to send your hands to those around you. And as you give this love, I want you to receive it. We see you. We know you for who you truly are. God in expression. We love you. We celebrate you. And we wrap our arms around you on your sacred walk. All right, y'all keep those hands up, kind of wave at somebody. Hey, girl, what's up? Long time no see. We got celebrities in the house, right? I owe you coffee. Yep, or whatever we're going to say, this is our opportunity. And so what we do is we light this candle as a symbol that when one of us is celebrating, all of us are celebrating. And when any one of us is moving through a healing journey, all of us are moving through a healing journey. And so we light this candle as a symbol of our unity. Can we say unity? And so it is.
Okay, so now we're in for community highlights. I already told you about the church website. If you haven't gone on it, there's so much information there, unitygainesville.org. And I always say, please read the e-blast. It comes out every Friday. That's my go-to to know what's going on. There's just so much information listed there. A lot of it is new information. There's a bulletin board outside the church and one in the hallway off the gathering room besides e-blast. We have a special thing going on after service today. Gabe Coleman, most people know who Gabe is. He's spent a lot of time in India, and he's going to share a presentation about India here in the sanctuary. It will begin 15 minutes after our service ends. He's seen a lot of India. Now, I have some news about the pot love. Because the kitchen is not completed, and it will not be finished next week, we're not going to have a March pot love. So just so you know, no pot love next Sunday. The March Board of Directors they have a meeting that will be this Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Zoom. The agenda was posted on the Friday e-blast, as well as it has a link to the board meeting if you wanted to see it. So I always recommend seeing the Friday e-blast. We always meet the third, I think it's the third Tuesday of each month on the board. We have an Easter concert on Sunday, April the 5th. The title of the concert is Bloom, a concert of renewal. Then this concert will replace our regular service for that Sunday. The musicians are Bernice and Manuel Roberto, as you know, with the harps and the flute, and Shayna Smith. The concert is free, but donations are encouraged. There's also going to be another new member class that's going to happen in April. If you're interested, please leave your name and phone number on Reverend Ryan's desk, which is behind the bookshelf. Behind the bookstore, there's the open door on the side there. He always has this door usually open. There's not something going on. Leave it there so that we'll know who's interested in going to the new member class. Then we have a Never Alone Club, and that club is going to meet at Unity next Saturday from 1 to 3. Bring your own lunch and a favorite game to play. And we have prayer chaplains. Our prayer chaplain today is sitting in the back of the room, Rupali, and she'll be in the back of the room now after the service, but we have chaplains here before and after church who can pray with you. There will be this month is different about the prayer clinic. There's going to be a prayer clinic on the 5th Saturday this month only. The prayer clinic will be after the worship service in the sanctuary. And the purpose of this is to learn the power of affirmative prayer. Yeah, I said that. Fifth Sunday. All right, Reverend Ryan has something to say.
Thank you so much, Celeste. Okay, y'all, couple of announcements. Our board members, any board members here right now? Yes, perfect. Yes. So if the board members could keep your hands up real quick. All right. So if everybody can kind of look around and to see these board members are your voice. These are your point of contact if they're like, hey, we could do this. How about we try this? Or this thing could use a little more attention. These are your voices. Of course, you can come to me, but these are your voices. I wanted to identify our board members because Unity worldwide, as I've said in many announcements, has gone through a process of restructuring, right? And so I'm just going to repeat for those who may not have heard. So the daily word, which we often use for our daily inspiration, is a different corporation than what is the organization that houses the Unity Ministries, right? So just to repeat, so there is an organization that produces the Daily Word, a full-on, corporate organization, for-profit, and there is a completely separate organization, a nonprofit, that contains all the spiritual centers, such as this one. And so we are one of 500 unities across the world. And so in December, a formal vote went through, and now the organization that produces the Daily Word purchased Unity Worldwide Ministries, okay? So what that means is all of the ministries, all their spiritual centers like this one, is now a corporate structure. We're now housed under the organization that produces a Daily Word. Now, the reason why I give that information is because per the charter, we have to vote as to whether or not we want to maintain affiliation with the new organization. Now, I got a hunch that we still want to be Unity, full affiliation. But if you have more questions or you're like, what does all this mean? If you can connect with the board members, and then also more importantly, at our board meeting this Tuesday, we'll talk in more detail about what all this means. Basically, if we want to maintain Unity full affiliation, that means we have access to their support with the ministries, all of the logos and stuff. That's actually trademarked material. We actually also every month we donate a portion of all that comes in to keep that organization going, right? Because they also provide us support in the various ways. But if we decide as an organization that we want to explore other options, a formal vote has to happen. So all that to say, this Tuesday at the board meeting, the board members, because it's a part of the charter, will vote. And the vote I anticipate will be for us to maintain full affiliation with Unity. But if there are any other thoughts or questions, please reach out to a board member and we'll talk more. Question? Yes, the meetings are open. All the board meetings are open to everybody in the community, whether or not you are a member, right? So in our annual congregational meetings, those meetings are membership is able to vote for representation. But if you look around, many of us, we call this our home and may not be members, and that's perfectly fine. And so however you fall on the spectrum in terms of your affiliation with Unity of Gainesville, all of those board meetings are available and open to the public. And as Celeste announced, the link to the board meeting is going to be on the newsletter, and the agenda is on the newsletter. So any information, and again, reach out to a board member if you have more questions. Okay. Got you. Okay, so if there are any questions, again, reach out to the board members. The second announcement, and I'm going to try to make this brief, is y'all, we need help. What I mean is there are a lot of areas in our community that need support, right? And so if you happen to have expertise in an area, or maybe you were a retired nurse practitioner and you're like, you know what, I could kind of do some care team, hospital visits, whatever. Just know that whatever your skill set is, it is welcomed and appreciated. And so basically, because we're all experiencing life and family responsibilities differently, we've had a significant amount of turnover with our volunteer base. And so we could use support from everything from the volunteer coordinator all the way down to the SSLs, the people you see here guiding sacred service. So all that to say, y'all, there are many, many pockets where you could fill in, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming commitment. It could be as little time as you can offer as possible. But I say that to say we have a handful of people who are doing a significant amount of labor, and all of us enjoy and appreciate what we're able to do as a community, but it's more filling and fulfilling if we have more hands on deck. I mean, y'all, everything from hospitality, you name it, greeter team, if there's any way that you think, yeah, I feel led to serve in this way, this is the time. Okay. Another example is we're gonna do cleanup later in the spring, just kind of cleaning up our grounds. So there's a grounds committee, right? So there's any way you could think there's an opportunity to serve. And I got to tell you, in a future talk, we'll talk about prosperity consciousness and how really the invitation for more is, believe it or not, giving more, right? The 10%, the tithe. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Okay, so those are the two announcements. I want to get to our guest speaker, who many of us have been really excited to hear from. Our guest speaker today is Donald Lee. Donald is a spiritual author and podcaster from Canada. His eclectic background includes degrees in economics and education, has worked as a musician, school band director, teacher, laborer, power engineer, marketer, and more. Donald has published 5 books so far, including the 3-book series, the Band Director series. This includes the popular book of modern-day parables, The Band Director's Lessons About Life, a study guide that turns the parables into a year-long course in spiritual development, and the Band Director's Pocket Guide to Spiritual Growth. In these books, Donald uses music as a metaphor for life, and the journey of becoming a musician as a metaphor for our spiritual journey. These books are available in our bookstore, and I asked Donald to make some available for us just so we make sure we can support our local authors. We have many authors in our space. Donald's talk today is titled, Who Do You Think You Are? Donald, wave your hand. We're so excited to welcome. Donald has been a part of our community for many months, and so I was pulling his leg to come do a talk, and the time has come. Thank you for saying yes, Donald. Not yet. We got a couple more things. A couple more things. As we shift into our daily inspiration, I invite all of us to take a cleansing breath. It's something that happens in our time. We go from evocation to announcements to business, and then it's like a reminder, oh yeah, this is a spiritual community. And so in this moment, we're going to move into our daily inspiration.
This happens to be this Sunday's daily word, and the word for the day is lively. The affirmation is, I am lively, filled with awe and wonder. And the scripture says, for you shall go out in joy and be led back in peace. The mountains and the hills before you shall burst into song, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. This is from Isaiah chapter 55, verse 12. So there is a glorious, unseen flow at the heart of all creation, moving in and through me. As I align with this sacred energy, I feel vibrantly alive. I imagine myself part of the great living whole. I am one with the trees, whose boughs sway in the wind, with the mountains and hills echoing with ancient voices, with the waters trickling over stone. Even the quiet earth hums a sacred song. Today I will listen more closely, breathe more deeply, and move with intention. Life is not separate from me. I am its expression. In harmony with its rhythm, the world begins to sing. I recognize its lively song is singing me too. And again, the affirmation, I am lively, filled with awe and wonder.
Save it for your deathbed. Save it for your last breath. Save it for the only one you thought you'd ever known. Save it for the moment. Say it when you know it. Say it to me. For the lonely miracle you did behold. Save it for your tombstone. Lay it on the ride home. Play it like a record on repeat forevermore. Don't say it at all. When you're up against it, give it all away before there's no one left to love. Don't wait until it's all gone. Say it on the ride home. Say it to me. Like a moth to a flame, like a flame to a tree, like a forest on fire, fully consuming. When it's over and done, when the wells run dry, will you come for me? Will you save my life? Thank you.
Just who do you think you are, anyway? That's the most important question in life. Whatever you make of yourself in this life hinges on how you answer that question. Because everything we think, say, and do conforms not to the truth about who we are, but to what we believe about who we are. The ancients said, if you forget who you are, you will forget everything that matters. So I ask you again, just who do you think you are? Now, likely all of you have a pretty good answer to that question, since all of you attend Unity of Gainesville. And it's certainly my pleasure and honor to be here with you this morning and to be able to share some thoughts. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the invitation, Reverend Ryan. And I hope that what I have to say strikes a chord, so to speak, with all of you. But let's think a little bit this morning about that question. Who are you, really? It reminds me of a tense situation I was in decades ago, trying to cross the border between Romania and Yugoslavia. Who are you? Diplomat! Diplomat! No, I'm not a diplomat. I'm a Canadian and I want to cross the border. Ah, you nobody. I finish my cigarette. I finish my card game. You don't matter. What does it take to matter in this world? And who am I really? Am I defined by the passport I carry? Am I defined by where I live? Am I defined by the color of my skin or the language I speak? When we're asked that question, who are you? Most of us answer with our name. Or we answer with the kind of work that we do. I'm a band director. I'm a teacher. I'm a musician. I'm an author. But am I defined by the work I do or the work I've done? Am I defined by the mistakes I've made? By the stupid things I did as a teenager? By the foolish things I've said in anger throughout my life? Who am I really? How do I define myself? In the Tao Te Ching, it says, he who defines himself cannot know who he truly is. In this material, three-dimensional world we've been born into, we appear to be material bodies. But that's the illusion. And once we get past that idea, then we think we are our minds, particularly that part of our mind known as the ego. This is the ego in a spiritual sense of the word, not quite the same as the ego in psychology. But what we really are is not a body and not a mind. We are soul or spirit. We have a body and a mind, but we are spirit. We are soul occupying and using and experiencing through a particular body and mind at a particular time and place. Our body and our ego mind form the veil that gives us the illusion of being separate from God and separate from other people. This illusion of separateness from other people and from God is necessary for us to experience our unique personality and for us to experience specific and individual events and feelings and perspectives, and for God to experience all of this through us. For God is indeed with us. As St. Paul famously said in his speech in Athens, it is in God that we live and move and have our being. God is all in all that is. That's exactly what we mean by the word omnipresent, present everywhere and in everything. All of creation is God playing at being physical. All of us are avatars of the one that is. We are here to enjoy the experience of being in this physical body and mind, to enjoy the experience, the avatar that is our physicality and our personality, all the while realizing our oneness with God. I am God expressing as my personality, and so are you. We are not a drop in the ocean. We are the ocean in a drop. Thus, be yourself. Express your own personality while hurting no one and loving everyone, because we are all one. This understanding, or you might say this consciousness, is the path to peace. Let me tell you a little parable about being yourself. It's from my book of parables. This is parable number 10. Make your own kind of music. Lewis showed up in my grade 7 band class with a boy's name and long hair at a time when almost all boys had short hair. In grade 7, voices haven't changed yet, so boys and girls sound pretty much the same. And of course, these days, you can't tell by how they dress themselves. Lewis was vivacious, even theatrical, as young girls sometimes are. So, in this age of gender sensitivity, I was rather hesitant as I went through the attendance list for the first time, and a girl responded to the name of Lewis Scott. I asked again. Maybe it was the first day of school joke and giggles would break out. Same response. She seemed earnest. The class was quiet. All eyes were on us. I didn't want to embarrass anybody on the first day of school, especially me. So I went on. But I thought, man, parents are so weird these days. Why would you give a girl 2 boys' names? The song Boy Named Sue came to mind. In the following weeks, it quickly became obvious that Lewis had a wonderful feminine energy, a great artistic sense, and a real love of music. There isn't much difference in the way you treat boys and girls, so it didn't matter that I wasn't sure. Lewis is a unique soul, imbued with a complete lack of reticence that was at times jarring, at times socially inappropriate, at times brutal. It occasionally got Lewis in trouble with some of the other teachers, but mostly I found it refreshingly amusing in this age of politically correct dishonesty. After about a month of carefully avoiding the use of personal pronouns, my epiphany arrived. Band class had ended and students were collecting their things and moving on. Lewis bounded up to me in a very Tiggerish sort of a way, and he said, "Okay, Mr. Lee, it's time for a game of Guess the Gender." This game show sounded ominous, but I was drawn in by Lewis's joviality. Lewis grabbed Sarah by the arm. Mr. Lee, is Sarah a boy or a girl? I think Sarah is a girl. I was certain that Sarah was a girl, but I tried to give my best doctor voice, expressing my medical judgment while still allowing for a professional difference of opinion. "You're right," Lewis exclaimed, and then bounded over to Robert and grabbed him by the arm. "Is Robert a boy or a girl?" I was safe so far, but I sensed that I was being set up. Yet I responded in the same circumspect manner. "I think Robert is a boy." "Right again!" Lewis was excited. No sense of bitterness or malice, just innocent fun. "Am I a boy or a girl?" "Gotcha." I had been set up. The moment of truth had arrived, and I was filled with both dread and relief. Slowly I said, "I think you are a girl." "You're wrong, Mr. Lee!" Lewis leaped into the air, just like Tigger. "I'm a boy!" Naturally, I felt like an idiot, but a relieved idiot. Relieved that my uncertainty had ended, and that Lewis thought the whole game was a great adventure. No hard feelings. He truly relished creating confusion and discomfort. It was a funny situation, one I've chuckled over for years, but it was also a great reminder to simply be ourselves. Lewis had a good sense of who he was, and he didn't mind if others didn't understand. Each of us is a soul, a spark of the divine. We can see ourselves as individual expressions of the divine. Therefore, we are already perfect. Our job is to live in the world as unique and individual expressions of the divine. Our souls come into our bodies with unique prior experiences, somehow, somewhere. It's one of the many reasons that no two humans are the same. I saw this vividly with our own twins. They had unmistakably different and unique personalities from the moment they were born. They seemed to come into this world with very different resumes. Perhaps that's a strange idea, but it seems to be true. We must strive to express our uniqueness with both confidence and love. I've spent large parts of my life trying to fit in, trying to be what other people wanted me to be. What a mistake. At some point, we have to figure out who we really are and be that person, not the person others expect us to be. Like the song says, you gotta make your own kind of music. Sometimes other people have a tough time with us when we're different from them. It's human nature to like people who are like us and to fear people who aren't. Our reptilian brain is irredeemably xenophobic. Being different in even the slightest way makes us a threat. Again, as the song says, 'cause it hangs them up to see someone like you. This naturally leads to conflicts, so we have to be careful not to overly antagonize others, to scandalize them, or to exaggerate the unavoidable friction between all of us. We can be ourselves, our unique expression of the divine, with love, not with anger. At the same time, we cannot hold ourselves responsible for everyone else's comfort or discomfort. Make your own kind of music. Sing your own special song. But don't crank up the volume so loudly that you annoy the heck out of all the neighbors. That's parable number 10. Make your own kind of music. When you understand that each and every one of us is God playing at being human, that each of us is simply a different avatar of the same Spirit, the one Spirit that is God, and that we are eternal beings of light and love, made in the image and likeness of our Father who is light and love, then everything changes. For example, here are 5 changes in consciousness that will transform your life. Number 1, there is no death because we are eternal beings. Number 2, this body is not who we are, but a temporary vehicle for having experiences in material reality. And number 3, therefore, there is nothing to fear because everything is love. God is love and everything is God. All of us are simply different avatars, different material expressions of the one. Number 4, there is no one else to blame or to attack because we are all the same one. Even the difficult people and the uncomfortable and unpleasant things are aspects of the same one. These are in our experience to teach us love. And number 5, thus all blame is self-blame, and all attack is self-attack, because we're all one, and that one is love. And thus, all love is also self-love. That's why Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, because your neighbor is yourself. Being love is simply being who we are. Thus, it is in being ourselves, universal love expressed as our unique personality, that we find peace, along with everything else we are truly seeking. When you know who you really are, that you are spirit, then you naturally manifest the fruits of the Holy Spirit, which the Urantia book beautifully lists as loving service, unselfish devotion, courageous loyalty, sincere fairness, enlightened honesty, undying hope, confiding trust, merciful ministry, unfailing goodness, and enduring peace. When we look around our world today, we can clearly see that very few people understand this. There is a distressing lack of love in people's hearts, in people's relationships, in communities, in nations, and of course, between nations. This will only be healed when more people are able to understand who they really are, to understand that we are all one, and thus to connect with the divine love within and to manifest that divine love in every relationship across the whole world. Let's see a show of hands. And be honest, how many of you have been thinking about some other person who needs to hear this message? Oh, we are also human, aren't we? This message is not for them. It is for you. You cannot change them. You can only change yourself. You can only change your own thoughts, your own consciousness. And yet the paradox is that by changing your own consciousness, you change the collective consciousness, and thus you change the world. Particularly in the last 3 centuries, humanity has chosen to develop its technology instead of its consciousness. This has put us on a dangerous path because technology without spirituality leads to disaster. This is so because, as most of you understand, the lower chakra energies focus on physical safety, sex, material wealth, and power in relationships. The desire for these is insatiable. On their own, the lower chakra energies are unbalanced. If these energies are given technological power, they will ultimately destroy the self and everything around the self. They must be balanced by the higher chakra energies of love, creativity, spiritual enlightenment, and the knowledge that all is one. The other is the self. Only through these higher chakra energies can we find peace within ourselves and within our world. The future of humanity depends on whether enough of us awaken to our divine nature or remain asleep in material darkness. We are now in the great testing. We have the technology to destroy ourselves, and we lack the wisdom to use technology only for love. Here's one more idea. In order to live in peace with yourself and with others, you must embrace the darkness within yourself and others, and you must forgive it. You must love it. There is no peace in judgment. From judgment comes only violence. Peace comes from forgiveness. Jesus taught this. As you know, this material world is a world of duality. Everything has its opposite or its complement. There is up and down, in and out, day and night, male and female, yin and yang, work and rest, us and them, right and wrong, darkness and light. We are always tempted to judge these. The light is good, the darkness is bad. Yet all are essential. Everything has its place, its purpose. The absence of love in this world causes us to seek love. It is the motivating force. It is exactly the scarcity of love in this world that makes this world such a great school for learning love and for learning that we are love. In a similar way, the abundance of conflict in the world is the motivating force that pushes us to seek peace. The abundance of evil pushes us to seek holiness. The darkness and the evil are necessary because they motivate us to seek the light and holiness. Bless them. Forgive them. Forgive the darkness in your own heart so that you can forgive the darkness in your brother's heart. All conflicts call for healing, and healing only comes through forgiveness. As you manifest the consciousness, the knowledge of oneness, you share this consciousness with all your brothers and sisters, and thus it becomes part of the collective consciousness. This is part of how we co-create with God. All creation is God extending himself in a trillion ways and forms as we improve our ability to be channels of God, channels of love, and to align our will with God's will. Then we also extend God, love, out into the world and into the hearts of our brothers and sisters. And thus we gently draw them into peace, love, and joy. This is how you bring peace to your own heart and peace to the world. The world's salvation will not come from politics or power, but from you and me living Spirit-led lives, and thus manifesting the fruits of the Holy Spirit that I mentioned earlier. Each one of you who forgives, who prays, who loves without reason, becomes a light pushing back the world's shadow. Remember that darkness is not a thing of itself. It is merely the absence of light. You are the light. You are the light and love of our eternal Father, who is light and love. My friends, live as the Spirit you really are. Make your own kind of music. Sing your own special song, and let your light shine in the world. God bless you, my friends.
Wow, thank you so much, Donald. Thank you so much, Donald. I couldn't help but feel like I was a band kid listening to my teacher. That was solid. We're gonna move now into meditation. I reached over, I said, Brock, can you play? And Brock is like, I got you. We're gonna play some meditation music, brother. Thank you. So if it's your practice, I'm going to invite you to close your outer eye. And what we're going to do is we're going to take into our hearts anything that may have resonated from the talk we heard today. And what we're going to do is we're going to remain as long as we can in that state before the thoughts are condensed to words. We're going to stay in that state where it just exists as love. And so in this time of meditation, we're going to allow the music to wash over us. And we're going to take in the reminder that we are all expressions of the divine, right where we are. In this divine moment, we hold close to our hearts those on our planet who are in need of a little extra love, whatever the condition, whatever the concern, whatever the ailment. We give them to the light, the highest expression of love itself. And we see them where they are, not in the condition that concerns them, but we see them enveloped in the glory of peace and joy and calm and wholeness. And that all of us in this room, we lay our burdens down, transmuting them from concern to love. We send our thoughts and our hearts to those in our communities who in this very moment are in the hospital, are in rehab, are in care centers. In this very moment, we send our thoughts and love to them. May this love envelop them. May they feel a little burst of energy. And may they be reminded of where it comes from, themselves, the love that is, the divine consciousness, a part of which we all are one. And finally, every last one of us in this room are representatives of our own families, our own neighborhoods, our own communities. All the people we traverse, colleagues, friends, we are their representative. And so we hold the high watch for them and for us, knowing that as we express and give love, not only is our world transformed, theirs is also. We affirm it as so, know it to be true, and honor it by saying, and so it is. Amen. It is done. It is done. We're shifting gears into our giving. And the reason why our offering is so close to the talk is because when we prepare our gift, whatever that donation is, we're actually imbuing it. We're preparing it like a parent does a little newborn. And what we're doing is we're offering this gift, the seed money, whatever it is, with that same level of care, knowing that it's going to grow and frolic in the wind and become something that we didn't even think possible. And so whatever you have to give, whether it's time, money, offering, whatever it is, just know you are appreciated. And your donations makes all of what we do possible. And so we're going to all bless these offerings. So place them over your heart, whatever it is you have to give. And repeat after me. Divine love expressed in me, through me and as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
If you should wonder, be not afraid. There's still a sun on the darkest of days. You'll stay afloat when you're tossed in the waves. Won't pull you under, they're washing it all away. When the walls close in, draw me closer again. Seek and you'll find a sign in silence, calling you. I am inside your heart. How great thou art. If you should wind up out in the cold, there's still a fire alive in your soul. You're not abandoned, no, you're not alone. When we get lost, there's a signal to call us home. When the door closes me closer again. There's a voice finally guided, calling you. I am inside your heart. How great thou art. When the walls close in, draw me closer again. Seek and you'll find a cry in silence, calling you. I am calling you. I am calling you. I
Well, we're ready for Tuesday. We have our green, there'll be no pinching. And we talked about St. Patrick today, that he was a real man, but he was not Irish. He was born in Britain. He was taken when he was 16 to Ireland as a slave. And when he was 24, he escaped and went back to Britain. But then he wanted to teach the Irish about God and Christianity. And that's why we look at the three-leaf clover for the Trinity, and that we do special things to celebrate St. Patrick's death, because he died on March 17th.
Thank you, Miss Gwen. Little lesson there. Y'all, look at these little ones. There was a couple months ago, I was like, the children are our future. And Miss Gwen said, no, the children are our now. And I was like, yes, that's right. So can we bless our now? Can we do that? So let's stand if we're able. And we have our little ones here. We also have nieces and nephews near and far, neighbors. We're going to bless the children of the world. And so let's rub our hands together, and we can say it together on the screen. Children, you are perfect just the way you are. The divine, magnificent outpicturing of Source. Everything you desire is yours, because you and God are one. We love you, we really, really love you. All right, y'all, let's circle up. Hold on one second, Miss Gwen.
We made a booklet about a leprechaun, and Brooke wanted to share hers with you.
Brooke, that is beautiful. Okay, y'all. Gary, start us off. The light of God surrounds us. We are light. The love of God enfolds us. We are love. The power of God protects us. We are power. The presence of God watches over us. We are presence. Wherever we are, God is, because we are divine and all is well. All right, y'all, we could look at the camera in the back of the room and just wave at our loved ones. We can't wait to wrap our arms around you and see you as whole and happy. All right, y'all, have a good week.